We'll begin with a few verses from Gita Dhyanam. Parthaya pratibodhitam bhagavata narayanena swayam vyasena kratitam puranamunina madhye mahabharatam advaitamritavarshiniim bhagavati अष्टादशाध्यायिनी अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी नमोऽस्तुते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्ससुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरु कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरु हरि ओम. Okay. Warm welcome to everybody as we continue our study of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Now, I believe we left it off at verse 15. Correct? Sound correct to you? I believe we left it off there. What is going on now is a lead up to a very dramatic point in the chapter. And today we're going to see why this chapter, we're going to begin to see why this chapter is named Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Arjuna Vishada Yoga means the yoga of the sorrow and despondency of Prince Arjuna. I don't know if you ever thought about it, but all the other chapters are called different yogas. You have Karma Yoga, we have Bhakti Yoga, we have Karma Sannyasa Yoga. So many different types of yoga will be there. But the yoga of sorrow? Very interesting. Very interesting. How is it that sorrow can be a spiritual technique to join us with our greater self? Yoga is that which is going to join us, connect us, unite us from where we are now with our greatest potential. With Bhagavan, if you want to say. How is sorrow going to do that? So that is what's going to happen now. But we have to continue from, I believe, verse 15. What is going on here is, we did a recap last week, and that is all there on YouTube for those who are joining for the first time. In chapter 1, we have the two armies arrayed on the battlefield, and here where we have left it off, the Kauravas, or the side that stands for their own selfish aggrandizement, the side who stands for their own selfish desires, the side that stands for adharma, they have blown the conch, saying, we are ready for war. And then, on the other side, Lord Krishna and Arjuna, they blow their conches. And then all the other warriors blow their conches, signaling, no, we are ready also on our side. We are ready also to fight. And we saw the sound was so tremendous that it like wrenched the air. The air itself twisted in that sound. And we saw all the names of the various conches. The reporter, Sanjaya, who is telling what happened on the battlefield, the ball-by-ball commentary, to the blind king Dhritarashtra back in the kingdom, he has love for the Pandavas. And he keeps hinting at Dhritarashtra that he should step in even at this late moment. The battle is 10 days in when this report starts. And the battle lasts for 18 days. So on the 10th day, when he starts to recount what happened on the first day, you find in his words a constant hinting and indication from Sanjaya, the minister, to the king, call off this battle. So he spends more time describing even the names of the conches of each of the Pandavas who blew the conch. Yes, we talked about that last time. And the very setup shows all the hints and signs that one side of the two is on the side of dharma. First, the very first name that is used for Lord Krishna in all of this is Madhava. In verse 14, Madhava is used. That means Lakshmipati. So the Rajya Lakshmi, the wealth of the whole kingdom, has to be returned now to Lord Vishnu. There's a hint there. And then each one of the Shankas, their names carry a hint also. Arjuna's is called Devadatta. Means his conch was given by the Devatas. It means all the cosmic forces are behind and along with Arjuna. Right? Lord Krishna's is called Panchajanya, we saw last time. And that means to say, from that, you get this whole universe manifest. So he is on their side also. We saw that in a bit of detail last time. The Lord is the one who responded after the Kauravas. He blew his conch first. That also tells you, many times we say, Bhagavan was on the side of the Pandavas. But that is just a casual reading of it. The truth of the matter is, the Pandavas were on the side of Bhagavan. He doesn't take sides. He is just there, standing for dharma. And those who stand for dharma stand on his side. Like that. So he blew the conch first. Then all the other Pandavas. Like that. So in modern day, if you want to give a name to your car and give a name to your phone and all that, that reminds you of its great purpose on the way of dharma, that would be ascribing to a great tradition. Arjuna's bow also had a wonderful name. So like that can remind you that this phone is meant to be used for something great. I don't know what you'll call it now. Instead of iPhone, where is my weapon of dharma? Bring it here. What will I do with it now? Right? Like that. Right. So this I remember we saw last time. Then in verse 16 now, let us chant that. I'm not sure if we chanted that last time. We did chant. Let us chant it again. Verse 16. Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Ananta Vijayam Raja Kunti Putro Yudhishthira Nakula Sahadevascha Subhoshamani Pushpakau Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. This verse is only telling the names of the conches of the remaining brothers. Here he calls Yudhishthira as Kunti Putra, adjective, son of Kunti, which he was, first son of Kunti, and Raja, King Yudhishthira. But he is, according to Dhritarashtra, Prince Yudhishthira. And this whole battle is this to decide who's going to be future king. So again, there's a little hint. King Yudhishthira. Oh, that's a big hint. You know that in any organization, any company, if they call the vice president as CEO, and there's currently a battle going on for who will be next CEO, well, that reveals immediately where you stand, isn't it? So like that. Yudhishthira's was called Ananta Vijayam. He blew the endless victory shank. Nakula and Sahadev blew their shanks also, respectively. Sugoshamani Pushpakau. Nakula's was called that which gives good announcement, and Sahadev's was bejeweled flower. That was his. Like that. Then what happens now? All the supporters now blow their conches. Let us chant those verses. 17, 18, and 19. Now I encourage everybody to chant along. Your joy and the experience will be multiple fold. Let the whole, if you're in your home, let the home hear that you're studying Bhagavad Gita. Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Kashyascha Parameshvasaha Shikhandi cha Maharatha Tritar Trishtadyumno Viratascha Satyakischa Parachitaha Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Drupado Draupadeyascha Sarvasha Prithvipate Saubhadrascha Mahabahu Shankhan Dadmu Prithak Prithak Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Sakoshotarashtanam Hridayani Vyadarayat So they all blew their respective conches now. Who all were those? So again now, we hear the names of the great Pandavas. First, Duryodhana listed them when he was assessing their side, right? And bragging about how great they are, right? And then telling everybody, now you please protect Bhima, and doing all the things he was doing, and we analyzed that, exposing actually deep down he had fear. Then the Pandava side, quiet, no talking. They've come here to fight. They know what they stand for. They're not needing to boost themselves, right? So then Bhishma blows the conch to inspire Duryodhana again, and then Lord Krishna blows, and then all the Pandavas blow. Now all the other warriors blow. And the effect on the Pandavas was way more. Who? The great archer, king of Kashi, he blew. Then Shikhandi, the great warrior, Maharatha, Drupada, father of Draupadi, and Drishtadyumna. Drishtadyumna blew, the son of King Drupada, right? And he was also an army chief on this side. King Virat, who they stayed with in the 13th year in hiding, he was there also. Satyaki blew, who is Aparajitaha, undefeated in battle. Drupada, King Drupada was there, so he blew. Draupadeyascha, the 5 sons of Draupadi. That means each of the Pandava brothers, they have one son who is there. Like Yudhishthira's son is there, Arjuna's son from Draupadi is there, and etc. Right? They're all there. So they all blew. Sarvashaha. O Dhritarashtra, Pratavipate means, O king. So this is Sanjaya saying. Saubhadrashcha. Saubhadra means son of Subhadra. This is Abhimanyu, whose story you know is a very sad one. Abhimanyu, on the day that he fought in the battle, he fought greater than Arjuna. And it's only because he would have cleared the whole remaining army and all the warriors himself. A young boy he was, in his teens, son of Arjuna. But you know, or you may not know, because they broke all protocol and they were fighting from behind and they were shooting at his horses and they ganged up on him, and he was saying also, just fight with me one-on-one. Why are you doing like this? Big old men doing this. Just fight with me one-on-one. But they came from all sides and they murdered him on the battlefield. A young boy. So he was there. So we know that from hearing Mahabharata story, but right now you just know he's there on the battlefield. The whole story still has to come, right? Shankhan dadhuhu. They blew their shankas. Pratak, each one by one. That happened. Then the sound of that, as I mentioned, what did it do? It vyadarayat. That's past tense. It pierced the hearts of the Kauravas. It, like, you know how that feels also when you get some bad news and your heart trembles. You get really scared. Just the sound of all these warriors blowing their conches made their heart tremble. And we analyzed the symbolism of that already. Why the wicked people, or the large number of weaknesses in us, although they seem overwhelming, why they shiver in the presence of just one good quality. It was such a tremendous sound that all the space between here and Svarga was reverberating. So with their conch alone, they shriveled up the hearts of the Kauravas. This happens all the time in life, and they portray it in movies and all that. In the presence of a good person, wicked people feel unnerved. Correct or not? Even in the household, when one person takes a oath, I'm giving up all my junk food at night time. All the other people in the household who like to eat junk food, they feel very unsettled. Because just the presence of goodness makes wickedness want to scurry. I didn't say wicked people. The wickedness in the heart feels uneasy because they know when one person starts living healthy in the household, well, that's going to spill over eventually to everybody else. So the ego, which is holding on to the negative quality, he knows, okay, the bell has tolled for me. This is not good news. Like that. So it happens everywhere. It's a principle. It is not the sound, obviously, that scared them. It is the impact that sound had on their heart. So there's another principle, psychological principle behind this. Why would the sound or the roar or the words of a good person have more impact on the heart of the enemy than the enemy's words and sound have on the heart of the good person? Because here it's written. It wasn't written that it pierced the hearts of the Pandavas. So how is it? And there is less of them, right? The numbers are something like, it was 7 Pandavas to 11 Akshauhin, 7 battalions to 11 battalions, right? So the Kauravas had more. And that works out to something like 1.5 million Pandavas to 2.4 million Kauravas. So there's almost 3 million people on that battlefield. So the sound of 2.4 million is going to be far more than 1.5 million people, right? It is because that simple principle, and this applies very much to those who are Bhagavad teachers, this applies to, in all cases in life, the depth from which an idea comes from inside of you determines the depth into which it will go in the other person's heart. Like that. That is a principle we have in our tradition. There is a famous story of Mahatma Gandhi ji, and a mother came to him and said, my problem is with my young boy. He's a good boy, but he eats snacks like that. He eats candy and junk food at breakfast also. At night time I find it in his room also. So I want you to tell him not to eat so much snacks. And you're a great Mahatma, he'll listen to you. See the predicaments parents put like people like Swamiji in? Anyways, Mahatma Gandhi ji said, okay, I will definitely do it, but you come back in a month. Then I'll do it. So she went home. She wouldn't say anything back to him. She had made the whole trip, but he won't do it now. He'll do it in 1 month. So she comes back, and he sits with the boy, and he talks to him. And everything is fine. And the boy is very impacted. The mother's only question is, why did you wait a month? And Gandhiji said, because when you came at the beginning of the month, I myself was still eating snacks. Means he would not even tell a young boy over which he has authority. And he has already fasted and everything. He's known for that. And living such a pure life. He wouldn't even tell a young boy, you shouldn't eat snacks. It'll help you and all that. Unless he himself has done it. Now, that is based on this principle. The words will have impact if you yourself have practiced. So for Bhagavad teachers, of course you will not be able to imbibe everything you are teaching. But the sheer effort that you put in, the oath that you take, with the 1 or 2 values you practice, it makes all the difference. And it is a marathon to take a child from Shishu Vihar all the way up to grade 12. So certainly a Bhavihar teacher who's doing this for 5, 6, 7, 10, 15 years, even if it's one quality, by the end of it, I mean, when you just sit with the children, it makes a big impact, right? This is why we seek out great Mahatmas who have walked the path, because their words have tremendous impact. That is why also in big management meetings and all that, it doesn't take a lot of words from the true leader to turn an organization around. They come into the meeting, they look at their managers face to face, and they tell them, look, I know such and such is going to work, and this thing we have to stop it. And whether they trust or not, there's a power in the words if that person really knows what they're talking about. This is going to be much and much more rare in a world of AI, where AI can generate anything. It could generate the most perfect lecture on Bhagavad Gita, but it is not going to have the same impact. So this is a principle that is there, and this is why the hearts were affected like that. We want the tree of goodness to sprout in our heart, right? And we want that tree of goodness to sprout in the hearts of all our family members. For that, we have to plant a seed in their heart. But to make that seed go deep enough, values have to be practiced. Then only our actions and words will pierce the hearts of those we love in a good way, right? Right. Okay. This much is enough, I think. And then what happens now? Let us chant. We'll chant through to 23. Okay, we'll chant through to 23. Now we're going to break because in the middle of verse 21 there's a break, right? Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Atha Vyavastitha Drishtva Dartarashtranta Pidvajaha Pravritte Shastra Sampate Dhanurudyamya Pandavaha Rishikesham Dadavatyam Idamaha Mahipate. Arjuna Uvacha Senayorubayor Madhye Ratham Stapaya Mechyuta Yavatita Niriksheham Yodukhamanavastita Karmaya Sahayodhavyam Asmin Rana Samudyame Yotsyamanaviksheham Yaketetra Samagataha Dartarashtrasya Durbuddhehe Yuddhe Priya Chikirshavaha Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama, Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. Krishna Kanhaiya Lal Ki Jai. What happened? Atha, well now, having seen all of Dhartarashtra and all the sons of Dhritarashtra and all their supporters, right? Assembled out there, what happens? Arjuna raised his bow and that Arjuna who had Hanumanji on his banner. So in verse 20, you don't get the full sentence. So it's very important. Sanjaya is telling what Arjuna is seeing, then what he is doing. Right? So Arjuna, with his Hanumanji on his flag, raised his bow at the beginning of this battle. Right? And then what happened? Well, okay, he's going to tell something to Lord Krishna after looking from his side. Right? But first off, you may not know that Hanumanji was sitting on the chariot of Arjuna. That was a deal that was made beforehand. He's sleeping there on the dvaja, on the flag. And one commentator said that Hanumanji brought Mata Sita back to Ram. And now he's going to help bring, as we said, Raja Lakshmi back to Vishnu. He likes to be a part of that work that is going on. Right? Then, another very important thing is, the story was there, that partway through the battle, when the chariot of Arjuna hit a big stone and there was a big thud and a shake like that, Hanumanji decided to look up and see what is going on right now in the battle. And so he looks at this big battle of millions and millions of people, and to him it looks like a nothing, a puchku little battle, and he goes back to sleep. Because for him, Ram Ravana Yudh had like trillions. Just the numbers were exponentially more than this little battle. So that is something like, you come back from a big war and all that, and then you come and see, a few people fighting in the backyard. Okay, this is no fight. I bet you no fight has started yet for me. So Hanumanji is not necessary. But his presence was very much felt on the battlefield because he steadied Arjuna's chariot. When it was getting blasted and attacked and all that, he was holding it together, his presence. And it comes in Mahabharata that after Arjuna steps down, and Hanumanji steps down from that chariot, it fell apart and burst into flames. So Bhagavan Krishna and Hanumanji were holding that vehicle past its time, so Arjuna could make the journey. Right. So Kabidvajaha. Now if you have Hanumanji sitting on your chariot, you're going to win. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. I think that is why people like to hang that Hanumanji in their vehicle. Have you seen that? Especially in Canada and the US, they put Hanumanji because he's also in my chariot. Anyways, so at this time, the war is imminent. Pravritte, it has begun. The shooting has not started, but because the conches were blown. The other thing in this, there's so much symbolism, right? Arjuna is going to lead the Pandavas to victory. But right from the fact that he has Hanumanji on the flag, you're getting the sense that he's really not doing it on his own strength. That idea should never come in his mind. He's not doing it on his own strength. And if we ever win over our negativities or succeed in the outer world, that idea should be riveted in our mind from beforehand. This success, it should not create abhiman in my mind. It is taught even in ordinary life as good sportsmanship. The first thing you say to your enemy is, on a different day you would have beat me. I don't know how I beat you this time. Even though you spent the whole time trying to beat them, at the end you toss out any abhima. And it is true that at every step of the way Lord Krishna guided, protected, encouraged, inspired. made situations adjusted such that Arjuna could win. And that is not just for Arjuna, that is in our own life also. Whatever successes we have, we should go back and rewrite our biography, looking for the hints where Bhagavan made it happen for us. Right. And why did Arjuna deserve all this protection? Why did he get all the protection? In other words, how can you and I get such protection? Because he was standing on the side of Dharma, and he made friends with Lord Krishna. Means there's two things there. There is an intellectual readiness to stand up for what is right. And they are finding even now, I just saw in the edge now of psychology is that when it comes to willpower and self-control over temptations, they're discovering now that willpower is a conglomeration of different things. There's no such one thing called willpower in the mind. There's no one such circuit in the brain called willpower. First and second of all, the independent variable that they're theorizing now has to do with paying attention. So if you're paying attention to the battle of temptation going on in the mind, well, then you still have all the brain circuitry of someone who has self-control. And if you stop paying attention to the battle going on, then quickly you give in to temptation. So that will be the psychological reading of what it means to stand on the side of Dharma, inside. Okay, I'm tempted by this, and this is difficult, and this is happening and all that, but I'm not going to give up paying attention to the battle going on inside. We know what happens when we say, okay, forget it, I'm too tired now. And then you just let the horses of the senses pull your chariot, and you just click whatever comes, and you eat whatever is seen, and you watch whatever thing, and you say whatever, and you have stopped paying attention to what's going on until there's some shock from outside, some alarm or something. Somebody knocks on the door. What are you doing there in the bathroom for so long? Oh, I'm on my phone. So you stop paying attention to what was going on inside. Arjuna is not one who's going to stop paying attention. He stands on the side of what is right. He doesn't win the battle every time, but he doesn't give up. Like that. So he has certain qualities that makes him fit to receive all the support from the universe, so he can continue on the battle. It is a beautiful metaphor of the limited jiva taking on a battle which really his ego could never complete, but invoking certain qualities in that ego such that the whole universe comes to support him. It is a wonderful whole reading. And to get a better idea of this type of thing, you should take your time and go through Puja Gurudev's commentary and introduction to the chapter, where he's so good at revealing the psychology. Okay, so having raised his bow, then Hrishikesham tada vakyam idam aha mahipate. Mahipate means, O Dhritarashtra, Arjuna said, idam vakyam, these words. To who? Hrishikesha. To the Lord of the senses. Arjuna uvacha, we saw that. Now, it's very interesting, you never find this in Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna uvacha starts in the middle of a verse. You ever find that? Usually before a verse, Shri Bhagavan uvacha, Sanjaya uvacha, Arjuna uvacha. But a verse doesn't begin and then in the middle comes Arjuna uvacha. So when Vedavyasa does something like that, he's emphasizing. So what he's emphasizing, you can think. What he asks now, in the middle of a verse, Senayorabayor madhye ratham sthapaya mechyuta. O Achyuta, he calls another. This is the first time now we are hearing Arjuna call to Lord Krishna. And he says, Hey Achyuta, in the middle of a verse he says, please place my chariot in the middle of the battlefield. Middle is coming. So a few things are there. Arjuna says Achyuta. So that has great Vedantic meaning, and it has great meaning between the devotee and Bhagavan. Huh? Chu in Sanskrit means to fall, to slip, to slide down, right? Chu. And Achyuta means one who never slips, never falls, never slides down, never wavers. Chu means to waver also. So one beautiful name of Lord Krishna is He who never wavers. And you see that, that we love to see them. The Murti's smile is always same in all circumstances. It is a great meditation to go again and again and look at the smile of a saint or a picture of Gurudev or the smile of Lord Krishna when your mind is wavering. When you're scared, he's still smiling. When you're happy, he's still smiling. When you're sad, he's still smiling. He has not fallen from his state of being the absolute reality. This is the Vedantic meaning. It means even though Bhagavan has taken avatar, he does it by invoking his own Maya. And he himself will say this in chapter 4. Ajopi san navyayatma bhutanam ishvaropi san prakritim swamadishtaya sambhavami atmamayaya. I manifest myself using my own Maya. Even though I am unborn, I do not deteriorate in any which way or form, and I remain as the Lord of all beings, I manifest here as one being. So he himself tells. This is always brought in comparison to us. We did not go on Janma B&B, on like Airbnb, and book our next body, and say, I'd like it to have this environment and this height and this hair. We didn't do anything like that. We were just pushed into a situation, right? And we got a certain body, a certain gender, picked up certain traits from last time, and we have to go through this scenario and lose that and have this big thing happen to us. We are involuntarily going through life's situations. But by contrast, Bhagavan, who is the very material of this whole universe, everything is rippling in him, brings his own Maya and manifests. Like that. This is the type of meaning that is given. Bhagavan is not pushed into anything. And it's so interesting that when he takes avatar, then jivas try to come and push and tie and convince and do all types of things. So that itself is that's why we look and read all the stories of Bhagavan. But Arjuna is saying this as Bhagavan is the charioteer. So the rider has to give instructions. So he has to talk down. He's literally sitting in a higher spot also in the chariot. He has to talk down to Bhagavan. So he says, Sthapaya, means he gives him an instruction. That's imperative mood. Please you do this. O Achyuta. So you have not fallen from your status as Lord for me. I know you have just taken the role as my charioteer. This is like you're with your guru and he's driving and you're telling the directions where to go. Please turn left, Gurudev. Turn right, Gurudev. You'll always add Gurudev because who are you to give instructions? Like that. So that idea is also there. And Bhagavan has, though being the Lord of the universe, has taken up the role to serve another. And not an easy role. Being a rathi, a charioteer, means that, see, here in Guyana, we still have horses and donkeys and cows and all that on the road. And when going for a morning walk here in Monrepo, you will see people who have their horses. You know, they have horses that pull things, usually long things like wood on a cart. So in the morning, they have to go and they have to wash the horse and take it, and get it ready and then hitch it to the cart. So every day you see the man with his horse, washing the horse, bathing the horse, taking care of it. And if the horse is in a stall, then he'll have to remove the dung and everything. So these 4 white horses that were there in the chariot, the morning of the battle, who had to do that? Bhagavan Shri Krishna had to do that for Arjuna. Yes, lucky horses. So that also gives us great indication. If Bhagavan can do those type of work in the service of his friend, in the service of dharma, we can take out the garbage and whatever needs to be done, right? Clean the vegetables or whatever, right? Now Bhagavan might be thinking, okay, you're asking me to place it in the middle of the battlefield. How long I have to be there? Why do you want to go there? So Arjuna continues now. We chanted this verse also. He says, Yavat, so long as, or so that. The reason why he wants to do it, until I can examine, survey the other side. All these people who have come here with the desire to fight. Yodokakaman. They've all assembled here, right? And it's right. And who want to fight with me? I want to go see all those people who want to fight with me. And Gurudev writes, at this point he'll be grinding his teeth. And his maybe white knuckle, you can imagine, on his bow. I want to see all who's come to fight with me. Right? At the outset of this battle. And he continues. So he wants to, until he has surveyed everybody, he will be there in the middle. And then he says, he continues, and he says, I want to see all those, in verse 23 now, I want to see all those people who have assembled here, who are wanting to do something dear for the wicked-minded Duryodhana. The key word is there, Chikirshavaha. The way Arjuna looks at it is, all these people have come here to please Duryodhana. They have come here to fight, to do something in his favor. Like that. And he's wicked-minded. That means these people have come to support evil. I want to see all of them. So you can get an idea in his mind. He is not changed from the glorious and ambitious warrior at this point. He's calling Duryodhana as wicked. Right. And then something very dramatic is about to happen. So let us chant. Sanjaya adds. So Arjuna says this to Bhagavan. Then Sanjaya now reports something to Dhritarashtra. Sanjaya uvacha evamukto hrishikeshaha gudakeshena bharata senayorubhayormadye stapayitva rathotamam bhishmadrona prabodhatah sarvesham uvacha partha pashyaitan samadguru nidishna Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Sanjaya said, so Arjuna said this to Bhagavan. Then Bhagavan must have said, okay. What do they say? Here, horses, let's go. Tatak, tatak, tatak. And off the chariot, off the horses go to the middle of the battlefield. Right? Eva mukto Hrishikesha. Having said this, Lord Krishna, Gurakeshena, with Arjuna, O Bharata, O Dhritarashtra, Senayorvayor madhye sthapayitva, having placed the chariot in the middle, Rathotamam, the greatest of all chariots, having placed that greatest of all chariots in the middle, what happened? Oh, okay, I'll tell you in a moment. See this for a second. So this sentence is completed in the next verse. We chanted them together. See here, Sanjaya calls Arjuna Gurakeshena. That means one who has mastered laziness and lethargy. Harking back to what we just spoke about. He pays attention, minimum. He doesn't let his alertness go. He pays attention. And Gurudev says it also means one who ties his hair. His hair not coming in the battle. As opposed to like some men and women, they have something called bangs, and it grows and it covers eyes like that, and then they're constantly shaking their head like this. So Arjuna had no hair. He had a warrior's hairstyle, whatever you want to say. Bharata is called for Dhritarashtra because anybody in the lineage of that lineage can be called Bharata, lineage of Bharat, King Bharata. And again he highlights how great the chariot was, right? We talked about the chariot a little bit in the beginning. A little bit more reflection is very good about useful. But maybe we'll see that when we continue next time. Let me tell you a little bit about the meaning of the verse we chanted, the next verse. Having placed it there, where did he place it? Bhishma Drona Pramukataha Sarvesham cha Mahikshitan. Where? Right in front of Bhishma and Drona and all other great kings. So Arjuna could not help, if he looks across, the first people he's going to see is who? The great-granduncle, great-grandfather, Bhishma, who is so respected, and Drona, his guru, for whom he is Dronacharya's favorite. He puts him right in front. And then Bhagavan says something. Uvasha, what does he say? Partha, O Arjuna, Pashyaitan. Pashya, he says Pashya, look. Etan samavetan kuruniti. Look at these Kauravas who have assembled. A very simple, innocent, casual statement by Bhagavan. And the way Veda Vyasa puts it, nowhere in Bhagavad Gita you will find Bhagavan saying anything without Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, right? The Lord said. Here, no Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Meaning, because it's coming through Sanjaya, but the presentation is that Bhagavan is playing a very innocent, light, non-significant role. Gurudev writes, through this one word Pashya, look Arjuna, he just puts a few sparks that will burn down the huge ego-built personality he has. Bhagavan just lights a light spark like that. And then you see the whole thing going to come down now. Right? Very interesting thing. So this we'll analyze next week. Verse 24. Is 24 and 25 we have to pick up from next week. So we would have seen, about 9 verses. All right. So now I'll say closing prayer, and we'll have time for any questions or comments. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.